I've been doing code enforcement for 17 years. That field, I want to help business owners. The way you teach the course, it was like a drill sergeant. Every little question I have, you guys respond, holding my hand. I think that shows a sign of professionalism. The course is fairly easy to understand.
I don't like you beard people. You see, I'm trying.
Yeah, just like my son.
I'll try. Okay, I would tell you a funny story. So my son, 14 years old, I was cutting his hair, right? I remember back in high school, I don't know how old you are, but there was that time that sideburn was a huge deal. You cut your hair and then you had this thing that was going, but mine didn't grow out. It took a while before my sideburns grew out. So anyway, long story short, I'm cutting my son's hair and I see the sideburns. I'm like, man, you're 14. I waited for this side. So guess what I did?
What, you cut it?
Cut it off.
Oh man, I bet you were mad.
I hated on him. I was like, no, everybody have this.
Your own son.
My own son, man. Nah, man. If I had to wait this long, you're gonna have to wait.
Wait,
okay. But what's going on, man?
Yeah, pretty okay, Just I try to do the redirect, so they said it will be redirect. So I guess the site will be up soon.
Okay. Let me know. And like I said, if you don't have if they can't figure it out or whatever it is, just you can send Mary all your login. She's very techie and she can probably
help out with yeah, she sent me some information. So I know because I'm with Bluehost, they did it, but she also sent me the information. So if not, then I'll follow what she said and I'll share it with them.
Absolutely. So anyway, I appreciate you taking the time, of course, kind of sharing your experience. Let's start off by telling us a little bit about yourself. What is it,
Yeah, so basically, I've been doing code enforcement for 17 years, that field. So I've been, right out of like high school, college. I started with the city, and then I went to do code, which is inspector. And then on the side, I used to do like sell cars as a hobby. Then I try to make it a career, but then I slowed down and just focused back on my primary career, which is code enforcement. But the entrepreneur spirit been always in me. So my stepdad, he had owned a dry cleaner and everything, and then also slowly but surely, I want to get into real estate, and then I want to help business owners.
Gotcha. Now, how did you find me, by the way?
It was on YouTube.
Okay, so you saw me yapping on YouTube, going crazy.
Yeah, it was on YouTube about I think all in one. It was a competitor. I think I forgot. Huh?
You talking about Oz or Commercial Capital Training Group?
No, not commercial. Is a white guy. He has a beard, and I think he has a software called All in One Marketing. Okay. I have to look up his name to give it to you.
I think you're talking about Broker Network.
Yes, that's it. Broker Network. Yeah. Okay. So you were giving your insight on them.
What did you think about my insight on them?
I mean, your insight got me to convert with you. So you was like, they're telling you this. There's no definite solution. They're not giving you the right equip. They're just like basically like a commercial. They're just selling. They're just selling you a gimmick.
Yeah, I got you. So clearly I talk a lot of crap about a lot of people online. People can watch the videos about that. But what was your overall experience with my course once you jumped into my course?
Your course, right? The course basically it gave the tools. The 3 parts of lending, funding. Basically, it's more hands-on. So that's what I like about your course. So it's like very realistic because I know business owners, they're local mom and pop shops, local people, and they want to grow and they don't know how to obtain funds. So with that insight, I think having that tool in hand and helping the business owners, that's more realistic than a commercial like, hey, have it your way, McDonald's, when it's not really that case.
Well, if I can peel it back a little bit, what were your expectations before you even started my course? Like, what did you expect?
I mean, basically, just what my expectation was just like be the money man. I was just thinking generally. I wasn't thinking like specifically, but more like on general. Like, okay, I'm gonna be the money man that businesses gonna come to me if they need money, and I help them get funding. That's how I was looking at it, like a hard money. I don't know if you ever dealt with hard money, but something like that. Yeah, I had the you need the funds, I got it.
Okay. One of the things that I always talk about, especially when I'm talking about other people's course, is I truly believe that you can't sell what you don't understand. You
Yeah,
know,
that's true.
and I see all these people selling these courses, and I would say that, all they're doing is recruiting glorified referral partners. They're not teaching you anything about the products. You're not very knowledgeable when you talk to your client. So they're basically just looking for people to find other people that need money, and then they refer them to them, and you don't know what's going on. The
Yeah.
reason I asked that is, what did you feel about my curriculum, my structure with the three paths of lending, and how well was the material organized, and was it clear? I know that's a long-winded question, but what did you think about the material? Did you understand the products, and was it clear and precise with what I was teaching?
Yes, I think so.
Okay. Expand on that a little bit. I mean, for somebody, because you haven't been in this lending world, how easy was it to understand and really just get the point of all the different things that I was talking about?
Because the way you had to teach the course, it
Uh-huh.
was like a drill sergeant,
Uh-huh.
and basically it was like, okay, here's the steps. Part,
Mhm.
three parts of lending. Then you explain them the next phase. Bad credit, good credit. It's like a lot of parts. Like be aware of that. This one can get
Mhm.
that individual denied. This one can get them approved. So follow the steps. And
Mhm.
you mentioned that a lot. And it's just like repetition.
Mhm.
And I believe as a broker, if you're following the steps and what can help your client get approved or not, that saves time and make you look
Mhm.
as a professional. That's just my
Mhm.
opinion, you know.
Mhm.
And you
Mhm.
provide all that. You're not
Mhm.
giving a how do you call it, a fairy tale, a Wizard of Oz gift. You're explaining the real deal. So if that
Mhm.
broker decides to do anything else, it lies on the broker. But if they do it the way you said it, then that their client has a high successful chance of being approved.
So, what? Because of course I'm talking about multiple different products in there. Which one of the products did you find more interesting, or which part of the course did you find more interesting?
The one is the three parts of lending. That one.
Okay, okay. The way I broke it down. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Now, was one of the things that I always, when I talk about Oz, and a few different other people, it's really important to have an engaging course. Something that's not boring, because we're talking about financial products. It can be a very boring topic. So the question is, was the instructions clear and engaging with the way my format and presentation?
Yes, they were. Because
Okay.
it's like you came off as not how do you say, you didn't come off as an infomercial. I don't know, you came as like someone locally. Like, like I could feel your presence. And
Hmm.
that's what gravitated to me,
Hmm.
me to you, because I feel like you were like, I know you. There's a lot of
Hmm.
teachers that teach online and you feel like it's just a paid actor. And with you,
Hmm.
you didn't come off as a paid actor.
Gotcha. Gotcha. One of the things as well for me when I buy courses is additional support. I think that, especially since we're moving into the course world, videos and the content is supposed to introduce you and educate you to the idea, but there's also one-on-one that's needed. What do you think about the support we've given you after you've taken the course?
Yeah, I think it's there. You and Mary,
Hmm.
every little question I have, you guys respond, holding my hand. I think that shows
Hmm.
a sign of professionalism and,
Hmm.
and basically showing that you guys care. You stand behind your
Hmm.
product. That's a positive thing.
Gotcha. When I started doing this, one of the biggest issues I had with some of my students was lead generation. So it was really bothering me because majority of my students would come in, they would give me great reviews like you do, and then I would not see them find any success because they wasn't generating any leads. And in this business, if you don't have leads, you're not going to make money. I can teach you all this stuff. I can show you how to do it. So I decided, if you noticed, I decided to add a lead generation course with the cold email marketing. What are your thoughts on the systems that I have on there on the cold email marketing?
Yeah, I think they're good. With the cold email marketing, I think you mentioned the scrap box.
Scrapebox,
Yeah,
yes.
scrape box. Yeah, yeah. I
Mhm.
think that's useful. So I plan on using that. I know I wrote it down, but I think like you. showing how to cut corners and who to go after. So I think it's very useful, in my
Yeah.
opinion. Cut the fat.
Absolutely. Because if you really think about it, and I made a video about this, there's only two ways on how to generate leads. It's either you pay, which means doing, ads,
Mm-hmm.
or you go ahead and invest your time. You're going to pay with time or money is what I usually say. But either way, you're going to pay,
Yes.
So how do you really productively use your time? Because the objective when it comes to marketing, when you go to networking events, when you go to to different places, when you're meeting realtors, when you're talking to accountants, what you're trying to do is to gather their names and phone numbers so you can market their business to them, right? That's
Yes.
usually the
Yes.
objective. So with Scrapebox, how beautiful is that? Where you can go online and really just get everybody's phone number, email addresses that you want, regardless of their location, their industry, or, even any profession that you want. That's the beautiful thing that I saw about Scrapebox, to quickly be able to teach, to allow students that are coming in that don't have that marketing budget to start generating leads straight out the door is kind of what the objective was. Have you had a chance to set up Scrapebox yet?
No, no, not yet. But I'm in the process. I plan on doing it this week.
Okay. What suggestions would you have for me that I can change about the course? Because we haven't been doing this for long. I'm still listening in and fine tuning and perfecting the system. So, what suggestions do you think you may have with the experience that you've gone through that we can do better?
I mean, the only thing is, because doing endeavors, I would say the submittals, the maybe a back end. Like, let's say that I get a lead, so the submittal. That's where I'm like sort of stuck at. How do I submit those to you? Like, what is the process of that?
Okay. We're gonna do another one-on-one, and I can show you how to do that. But simply, you have access to your CRM, right?
Yeah.
Okay, that's how you're gonna submit them. Now, there's two options that I give you on how to submit them.
Okay.
If you want to just do email, if you want to do an email introduction, hey, this is the guy. Can we schedule a call or whatever it is? If you just want to do a professional email introduction, I'll allow you to do that as you kind of get yourself ramped up and going. But eventually, it's going to be the CRM. You're going to plug them into the CRM. Have you logged into your CRM section yet?
Yeah, the go high level, right?
Go high level. Yeah.
Yes, I have logged in.
Gotcha. Well, and by the way, we're having a training tomorrow, so you definitely don't want to miss that training. But if you see on Go High Level, I have that initial call tab. You plug in all your clients' information, and you just go through that initial call, as I've trained you how to do that, gather that information, and then after that, you can just set up a task inside Go High Level for somebody to evaluate your client once you've collected the necessary information, quarter reports or whatever it is. But let's schedule. I'll touch on that tomorrow during our weekly meeting, and then if you want to do a one-on-one, we can do that. But that's an easy process. Either an email introduction. But most important, eventually we want to do it all in the system, is what we're going to teach you how to do. Okay.
Okay. And the client will provide me the information on like basically when I do the intake, will they fill a form or it'll be over the phone? Like, let's
No,
say
initially it's all going to be over the phone. Let's just play it in real life. Okay.
Okay.
You have a client named Henry that you met, whatever. You met him through your marketing stuff. He responded to one of your marketing, or you went to a marketing event and you met Henry, and Henry wants a business loan. What you're going to do is you're going to go through that initial call with Henry. You're going to call Henry, and when you logged into your Go High Level, and you're going to go, hey, Henry, how much money are you looking for?
Okay.
What do you need the money for? How long have you been in business?
I see.
And you just punch in that information. And then at the end of that call, the objective with every initial call is to do two things: to gather credit reports. Gather as much information as possible, but eventually you want to pull their credit report, and you want to get their bank statements if they've been in business for at least 6 months. Because again, three paths of lending. There's three ways on how we can get the money, right? Either based on their credit, either based on their income, or either based on their asset that can be used as collateral. So we have to evaluate either one of those three options. And if you think about it, credit is number one. We want to look at their credit to see where they stand. So we got to pull their credit report. And then number two is their income. So we want to pull a copy of their 6 months bank statements, kind of see what their bank statements look like. So to answer your question, handle that initial call, put in the information on your Go High Level contact, gather the necessary documents, bank statements, and credit report, and then my team will evaluate that client within 6 hours, 4 to 6 hours, and come back to you and let you know what that person qualifies for.
Got it. Okay.
Okay. And we'll go over that sometime tomorrow, and then if we need to do a one-on-one, we can definitely do that as well. Last question before I let you go: would you recommend our course to anybody that's interested in becoming a loan broker, and why?
Yeah, definitely. Like I said, the professionalism is there. You guys hold, people hand. The course is fairly easy to understand. So definitely, on my part, yeah.
Okay. I appreciate it, man. Any final words?
No, no. So basically, you said training tomorrow, so I'll be there, and
Yep.
and the one-on-one and everything. So
Yep.
I'll make sure I'm available.
We'll do the training tomorrow. It's going to be a group training, and then after that, I'll answer some of the questions that you brought up today. And then after that, if we want to reconnect on a one-on-one, kind of walk you through using Go High Level. Since we just switched to Go High Level, I can definitely do that. Okay.
Got it. Thank you, Brian. Appreciate it.
Peace out, man.
Thank you.
You have a good one. Bye bye.